I read Ben 10 issue 4, so let's talk about it. Probably don't need to say this, but spoilers ahead, so hit that like button, go read the issue, and come back here. So even though this isn't my favorite issue for the Ben 10 comic series so far, I still thought this was a really fun read. My favorite character of this issue has to be Zombozo. In my opinion, Zombozo is one of the most underrated Ben 10 villains out there, and I think this comic does a really great job on introducing this character right here, as not only do we give him a brand new great redesign for this series, but they also make him pretty dang terrifying just like the original cartoon. So yeah, even though I have my mixed feelings over issue 4 of this comic, I still think this is relatively a really great issue, just like the other 3 that we've seen before. With this comic now entering a new arc focusing on Zombozo, it makes a lot of sense that we would be seeing a lot of body horror within this issue, and oh my gosh, the body horror within this issue is so amazing. This issue gives us a little bit more time to focus on Ben and Gwen's relationship, and yeah, I really love their banter towards one another. They have a lot of great sibling vibes to them, and the energy that they have within this issue captures a lot of the arguments that they have within the original series. It's cool to see Ben getting a good idea of how the Omnitrix works now, though I don't really know how I feel about the pacing when it comes to him realizing of how it even works. But I still do wish that they had done a better job when it comes to explaining how does Ben even understand how the Omnitrix works. Like, even though it's kind of implied that Ben can use the Omnitrix because of his emotions, I still wish the comic had done a better job when it came to him explaining that instead of them showing it to us. I also have some mixed feelings over them skipping over Ben having a lot more freakouts when compared to the first 3 issues we've seen before, where he's trying to figure out how to get the Omnitrix off and may even not want to become a hero in the future. But at the same time, I do kind of enjoy what they're going for here for making Ben wanting to jump in on being a hero, because it kind of fits a lot of the cartoony vibes we saw Ben have when it came to his wanting to be a hero when he first got the Omnitrix. There's a lot of cool references within this issue, like not just the Sumo Slammer cards, but also Ben and Gwen in their UAF colors. There isn't really a whole lot going on within this issue itself, besides a couple of things towards the end and I guess the beginning, but I do like how they are kind of sprinkling in some ideas for what we can expect for future storylines of this comic. Like, there's this one little moment here where we see Ben turn into Heat Blast, and he's kind of bickering with Gwen inside the supermarket, and I kind of don't really understand how that scene works, because I feel like the moment when Ben turns into Heat Blast, he should be burning down that whole building. But anyway, when we do see that moment, you see this weird looking bug kind of watching Ben from a distance, and I think they're kind of setting something up soon when it comes to Dr. Animo's character, since we haven't really seen anything brought up when it comes to that robotic bear we saw in the first issue. And as for that one earlier scene where we see Ben as Wildvine, I like to think that they're setting up a storyline that I'm personally really excited for when it comes to introducing one of my favorite villains, along with one of my favorite aliens in Ben 10. The new character designs in this issue are really great. I especially love Zombozo's new character design. He screams so much Pennywise influence, and I just love that so much. And as for some of the aliens that make a better debut within this issue, we finally get a better look to Wildvine, and even though we don't really see that many moments of him in this issue, so far this design is gonna be probably one of my favorites in the future. We get a better look to Accelerate, and while I am disappointed to see that we're not gonna be seeing him taking down his visor, I do like the whole Xenomorph look they're going for with Accelerate's character, along with having him talk super fast anytime we see him transformed. I feel like that adds a lot of layers to not only Ben transforming and turning into something else, but also kind of fits well with the whole super speed thing that Accelerate has going for himself. And finally, we get to see the debut of what was my favorite alien from the OG show, Stinkfly. And after seeing a much better look of what Stinkfly is going to look like in this comic, I must say I am pretty disappointed. It's not like it's a bad design per se. I like that they got the little antennas on his head to kind of look very similar to the original Stinkfly in that fashion. But for me, this just kind of looks like a giant green insect bug, and Stinkfly looks so much more unique than any other giant bug alien you would see within the franchise. Also, the fact that they not only take away the Omnitrix logo from its head, but they also get rid of what was probably my favorite suit design for any of the OG aliens for Stinkfly's design. The little V-shaped pattern on Stinkfly's chest went so hard to me as a kid, and I'm just so disappointed that they never continue with that design for the comic series, but still I'm happy to see that my favorite alien as a kid made his debut in this comic here. My favorite moment of this issue has to be when we see Ben having that nightmare as Wildvine. This moment right here, oh my gosh, this was by far the most engaging part of the entire issue in my opinion. Not only is it a pretty good jump scare after you see that little girl go into Zombozo's tent and you see the circus freak appear behind her, but I also love how gruesome it is, and it's probably one of the most gruesome moments we've seen in the entirety of the Ben 10 franchise, as we see these black tentacles wrapping around Wildvine and ripping off his plant arms. Like, oh my gosh, that was just really brutal to see. But I also do love to see on how this might be setting up probably one of the biggest story arcs we're going to be seeing within the Ben 10 comic series. And I think with this moment here, they're going to be setting up Ghost Freak. Those black tentacles just look something like Ghost Freak would have, and with Ben having this nightmare, I could totally buy Ghost Freak trying his best to break through to Ben, so he could either take control of his body to break out the Omnitrix, or try to do some other plan that we haven't really seen explored in the original series. One of the number one things that I've always wanted to see within the comic series is them trying to bring in their own version of Ben having his own depression arc, similar to Spider-Man wearing the black suit or Mark wearing his blue suit from Invincible, and I think they could do that very well with Ghost Freak's character, and I cannot wait for the day when he is introduced in the future of this comic. I give this issue an 8.9 out of 10, giving it a B+. Anyway, that's the review. Go down to those comments and tell me what you thought of Ben 10 issue 4. Share this video with all your friends. And hit that like and follow button to get out of all my latest content. See ya!